Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Monday evening, beautiful Monday evening in Middle Tennessee, August the 19th, as we broadcast to you across the A to Z Sports live stream network. We got position battles to update after preseason game number 2. The Titans get another win in the preseason, this one a 1-point win as time expired against the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday, and where a bunch of reserves played trying to protect the starters for future viability heading into preseason game number 3. And then ultimately, 2 weeks after that, the first week of the regular season. Everybody get excited. The Titans have a handful of injuries that are going to impact these position battles as we get closer and closer to roster cut down day. We are going to do that. We'll talk about interesting storylines from the preseason around the NFL, and then Bert will update us with what we missed in a segment cleverly titled, In Case You Missed It. We're always appreciative when you guys hang out here with us. We are even more appreciative when you share the broadcast around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, wherever you live stream with us. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That is in the bottom left. And if you're on YouTube or Twitch, give us a like, the little thumbs up emoji there. Give us a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend to do the same, and we would be grateful for your participation that way. And once more of you guys have done that and more of you trickle in as this live stream gets around and people get their push notifications, we can go ahead and get things started. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by the wonderful people at Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN. Get up to $100 on your no-danger first wager in the Zen Sports app. By Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, and your Ford Bronco headquarters at tworiversford.com. Of course, TrueMav Fitness, the first workout free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, no workout ever recycled or repeated. Looking forward to getting a little Arm Farm Friday in this coming Friday at TrueMathFitness.com. Okay, so we have preseason game number 2. It's in the books, and we have a dress rehearsal on tap in New Orleans, which, of course, I'll be traveling down for those of you who are attending. We'll look forward to seeing you guys at the Caesars Superdome, but time is running out for guys who are in critical positions to make or miss this active roster, this initial 53-man roster in a week's time, a little more than a week's time before this thing officially has to get down from 90 to 53. So there's a handful of different injuries to take into consideration on the position battles with this, and your Two Rivers Ford take is where we are going to start. The Titans position battle most impacted by injury. Which Titans position battle is most impacted by injury? Tell us in the comment section on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. We'll discuss at length together based on how you see it. So you may be asking, well, can you refresh my memory on which Titans are injured? And I can do exactly that. But let's start with the preseason game, the injuries to result out of this specific preseason game that will also impact those injuries. So Brian Callahan, speaking to us yesterday, mentioned Kearis Jackson with a knee bruise, Jabari Small and Josh Wiley, both in the concussion protocol. Kyle Phillips probably going to be out this week dealing with a hamstring issue. Ryan Stonehouse hoping to get work this week in the New Orleans game. He hasn't played in the preseason at all. T.K. McClendon, a defensive lineman, dealing with turf toe, and Otis Reese, concussion protocol for one of the Titans' starting off-ball linebackers, which also, by the way, includes Luke Gifford, who missed last week. He did not play in the preseason game with a concussion. Cedric Gray did not play in the preseason game with a concussion. You've got guys like DeAndre Hopkins, of course, who are missing time with a knee strain and a variety of other things to top-of-line players that will not necessarily affect the depth conversations right now. But that is the list of players who are missing time with injury or who stand to miss time with injury moving forward. Of course, Marlon Davidson was placed on injured reserve last week with torn biceps. So your defensive line depth taking a little bit of a hit there too. So when I lay it out for you like that, which Titans position battle is most impacted by injury? We'll talk about it together on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It's your Two Rivers Ford Take. As always, your Two Rivers Ford Take is presented by the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Quality American-made Ford vehicles at your Ford Bronco headquarters. I love Two Rivers, not just because I bought my vehicle from them, but because their customer service continues to be outstanding, even years after I purchased my vehicle. Mobile service, their award-winning service department, their award-winning customer service across the board is what they offer you, and a non-commissioned sales staff that puts zero pressure on you throughout the course of the car buying experience. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com for more information. So, what position battles are most impacted by injury as you see this Titans roster? Well, the two that immediately come to mind for me are three that immediately come to mind for me: off-ball linebacker, slot receiver, and defensive line. This is Brian Callahan updating the injuries with us at Sunday's press conference.
The ones that kind of matter, Kearis Jackson has a knee bruise essentially. He's questionable to play in the game Sunday. We'll see how it comes. Those things are kind of tricky. They can be pretty painful and they can linger, or they can come back quickly. So that one's sort of open-ended and up in the air. I'll just keep him at week to week for now. Jabari Small is in the concussion protocol. You likely won't see him this week. There's a long list of dings that I got, but the main ones are the main ones. I wouldn't, Josh Wiley's still in the protocol as well. I think he's got a chance to get back this week. Kyle Phillips with the hamstring, probably out this week, but we'll see. After that, that's the main ones. Hopeful to get Stonehouse potentially some work, a punt or two in the game on Sunday. We'll see where that's at, but that's the goal. It's kind of always been our target, is to get him back on the field, that last step in the rehab process, feeling some live action, kind of plus 50 punt, let him hold a little bit as well. So that's the hope. I can't guarantee that, but we're hopeful to get that. TK McClendon, he's got a turf toe. He's probably going to miss some time, a couple of weeks, I would think. So he was having he played really well last night, and he got the turf toe injury. So I would expect him to miss some time. Otis Reese is in the concussion protocol as well. He actually had a really nice game last night as well. He did a nice job. So we'll see how he comes out of that. And that is those are the main ones. Everybody else.
So that's Brian Callahan speaking to the media at yesterday's press conference. So first and foremost, and I said this on the radio show, and I continue to feel this way. I hate this for Marlon Davidson and Kyle Phillips and TK McClendon, because those guys, feel like they had a good opportunity, a really good opportunity in front of them. TK McClendon is obviously not done for the year. Turf toe is not going to cost him the rest of the season. And Kyle Phillips is not done for the year. But the hour is late on Kyle Phillips and his viability to make the roster. You have Mason Kinsey, Jaquan Jackson, Kearis Jackson also scheduled to miss some time with injury, or at least maybe not have a full week of practice. We'll see how that ramps up for him ahead of New Orleans. But those two guys in particular, with Kyle Phillips and with Kearis Jackson, those are the two that I think are hurt the most by these late-stage injuries. Kyle Phillips, the availability has been a consistent question with him, and I truly hate it for him, because I think that this is the thing that ultimately sees him released come roster cutdown day. I would anticipate that some team might be willing to pick him up, just depending on the severity of the hamstrings thing, but I would expect a wave injury. Well, I won't say that I would expect. I'm not sure what to expect. I don't know the severity of Kyle Phillips' hamstring aggravation, we'll call it right now. But if I had to make an educated guess, I would say that Kyle Phillips would likely be waived injured unless there is something substantial that comes out of this after the preseason finale, because he will not play. It sounds unlikely that he will play in the preseason finale. And, that's also going to cost him a week of work in the lead up as well. Jaquan Jackson continues to be the player that has the best percentage chance to make the 53-man roster, and a credit to him for working as hard as he has.
Everybody fighting for a position, from all over, it don't matter from offense or defense, but you just got to come with the mindset to just keep going.
How do you think you guys did as a whole today offensively?
I say great. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some, but we just got to learn from our mistakes from today and the wins that we had. How can we build off of that? We're going to watch film later and just, flush it down the toilet, and tomorrow we got to come with another mindset and try to have a great day.
For you, how much more confidence did you come in with today after that big day Saturday? Was that something that you really felt like you built off of?
No, I always try to be, no matter if it was a bad performance or a great performance, I always try to be the best that I can be to help the team. It takes a team to win, but everybody got to do their 111 to make a play successful.
How valuable is it to just go against different personnel out here?
Oh, yeah. It's important, Just I said last week that, man, we've been going against our defense every week, and they know what we're doing. We know what they're doing. But going against another defense and seeing different guys and different techniques that they play, it really helps us. It gives us a game-like scenario to see if it's unscripted. Coach calling the plays, we don't know what they call them, so we just got to hear it with the quarterback translate. The quarterback got to translate it to us and just go out there and execute versus the coverage it was. Because, in the joint practice, they can show different coverages from 2 high, then roll to 1, and then, the nickel could blitz and the safety could go back to 2. So it's a lot of stuff going on. You got to train yourself you got a little bit of seconds, the play clock going down, and you got to know if you got to convert or don't convert, you got to know the coverage. So there's a lot all in one. So, and sometimes you have a can, so you got to make sure if you give you one play, then you can it, you got to make sure, oh crap, what that play was. So it's a lot to go. But
it seemed like
That's Jaquan Jackson speaking with media in the week leading up to last Saturday's preseason game. So I think that there is a lot of different things that are impacted by this. I also think that the depth defensive line conversation, at least on the initial 53-man roster, is going to be impacted because, of course, Marlon Davidson done for the year. He was Jeff Simmons' primary backup. T.K. McClendon was second in line that way, or I guess theoretically third in line that way. And now he is going to miss some time with turf toe. So you look down the depths of the Titans defensive line group, and you're pretty unenthused by what exists there. The Keandre Coburns of the world, Quentin Bohanna, Rashad Weaver, who is technically not a lineman, but an off-ball, or rather an outside linebacker. There are a couple of different options here. Thomas Rush, but still not in love with the interior defensive line options. And they did sign an additional player in placing Marlon Davidson on IR last week. Abdullah, the interior defensive lineman, who popped for a couple of plays, as a matter of fact, in the preseason game, coming right off the street. So those are the two ones that I think are impacted the most. And then off-ball linebacker, right? Because if Otis Reese is dealing with a concussion and was likely to miss this week, Luke Gifford missed this past game with a concussion. We'll see what his status is. Cedric Gregg continues to deal with a shoulder injury. And Garrett Wallow, who was the third linebacker on the depth chart after Gibbons and Murray, or Murray and Gibbons, depending on how you would stack them, he's done for the year with a torn pec. So Chance Campbell making the roster. Otis Reese had a pretty good path. Now it seems like that conversation is going to be ongoing, depending on how long the concussion protocol keeps him out of practice and ultimately game action. So that's where I'm at with these position battles right now. All right, so biggest headlines league-wide from the preseason. What is the thing outside of the Titans, whether it's contract situation, Brandon Ayuk's trade or non-trade, the Steelers quarterback rotation? What is the biggest storyline of the preseason so far to you through 2 weeks? We'll talk about it together. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch in the comment section is how you can get involved. While you guys chime in, I will remind you that the Primetime program is presented by TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch. Your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident at TrueMathFitness.com. No workout is ever recycled or repeated. TrueMath Fitness goes above and beyond to help you satisfy your fitness goals. Go to TrueMathFitness.com for that first workout free. Okay, so what we have here in the Titans and their discussion or their place in the discourse league-wide in the preseason right now. Nothing really dramatic happening with the Tennessee Titans, right? The biggest source of drama was Arden Key's suspension And now that suspension, I don't even want to technically call it overturned because it was never officially handed down to be overturned. So whatever the timing on the official nature of Arden Key's suspension ends up being remains to be seen. But right now, that is the biggest source of drama from the Titans, and that looks like it's got a pretty clean resolution. So pretty drama-free preseason and training camp for Tennessee beyond Hopkins and the knee strain and Arden Key suspension. So league-wide, what is the bigger conversation? What are the more interesting conversations that are being had? A lot of compelling quarterback talk, and in particular coming out of Atlanta, where rookie quarterback Michael Penix did not play this past week in the preseason game against the Ravens, and he will not suit up on Friday when the Falcons host the Jags in the final preseason game of the year. So that's courtesy of Raheem Morris, the Falcons' new head coach, and he gave an explanation on why that is with Kay Adams on the FanDuel Network.
People want to see this kid develop, give him the reps.
Rightfully,
Patrick Mahomes got the reps. Jordan Love got the reps.
Rightfully so. But, you can prepare yourself while mitigating injury. And we've learned so much more in the new game of football and new age of football that we've changed every single year. We've changed the way the game's been played. We changed the way the hits are developed. We changed the way everything's going. So we got a different approach, and our approach works for us. We got him 25 snaps last week of a bunch of different things that we can simulate. Now we're getting the reps out here against one-on-ones and ones versus twos versus ones. I love the competition. And this kid's going to develop, and he's done a great job of doing it already, and I'm fired up to see him to keep maturing and keep going.
Do you value reps in the preseason at the quarterback position differently than most coaches?
No, it's just, most of the guys that got those young quarterbacks out there, they probably playing their first-team O-line. They're probably playing their first-team people with them, and they're playing with people that they would be out there on a normal basis. What we can do in practice is we can simulate that against our own guys while mitigating injury, while limiting the fact and putting them in harm's way in order to do some things. It's just not worth it. One thing I do learn about coaching, you don't get mulligans if you do get a player hurt that you're counting on. And I want to prepare myself and put myself in the best situation not to have that.
So the message is not, I don't believe in Penix. I don't want a quarterback controversy. I believe so much in Kirk. It's just about, it sounds like it's just about injuries.
Yeah, nothing will be done on selfish thoughts of my own or trying to protect myself from a decision that we made together.
Protect the quarterbacks too.
It's more about protecting our assets, mitigating injury with our guys, being able to do it the right way. We had those 2 joint practices versus Miami, which were awesome. We got a chance to get great reps against people. We got a big-time scrimmage coming up with our guys. We were able to play them in that first preseason game. Kurtz played a bunch of ball. I got 2 guys that I feel really good about playing that goes in the game and can execute for us.
So that is Raheem Morris, the Falcons head coach, describing why he is not playing Michael Penix in 2 of the 3 preseason games. Beyond that, it is quarterback centric, right? It's Caleb Williams looking great with Rome Odunze in preseason action. Bears fans really, really excited and going to be bloodthirsty in the stands when the Titans come to town in week 1. Looking forward to seeing Soldier Field in that environment because I don't think I haven't done a regular season game in Chicago in my career. I did preseason there last year, but Bears fans have been tortured, and I'm looking forward to seeing them with some actual juice. Beyond that, it's J.J. McCarthy missing the year with the meniscus repair, and Jaden Daniels also being named the starter as the number 2 overall pick, where Drake May as the number 3 overall pick, not quite on solid footing just yet, competing with Jacoby Brissett, and to hear every other Vols fan tell it, competing with the famous Joe Milton and the rocket launching, back flipping quarterback of a 6-stringer that the New England Patriots also have in the room. So with that, we will welcome in Bert for In Case You Missed It, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Go to GaryAshton.com. Don't sell without the intel that the Ashton team can provide to you in this red-hot Nashville real estate market. Nobody has better intel than the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators, Gary Ashton. All right, Bert, what do you got?
What do you want?
Just you to do your one segment of the week, just for you to fill this one single obligation to me. Yes, exactly. Am I boring you tonight?
Do I have to do my one segment this week? No, I've actually wanted to talk to you since the game this weekend because on the sideline I saw Calvin Ridley allowing the equipment managers to try on his gold chains. I've done the luxury of pulling that
here.
review.
1,000-yard season last year in Jacksonville. His passing game coordinator, Nick Holt, sitting next to us. I wonder what he's going to do with that chain.
Take it back. somebody was sampling it.
And then afterwards, promptly someone giving him a smelling salt popper.
Yeah.
Like, come on, hey, is this one working for you? I can't smell anything. Which brings to the question, I don't know what it is about people wanting to try on other people's jewelry. That just gives me the ick. I don't know about you, but like when Ryan Fitzpatrick came out in the Bucks and he was wearing all of Deshaun, I wouldn't want to wear someone else's jewelry. You sweat all over that stuff. It stinks. It's gross. Like, I don't want to wear someone else's stuff.
And a lot of dudes wear it during practice. Like that, to your point about it being kind of icky and grimy and stuff like that. Like the Fitzpatrick one was great because he came out and did a press conference that way. That's different. Everyone after that, save Kirk Cousins, because objectively that was also hilarious. I think that most of these other instances of people trying on other people's jewelry, as opposed to having their own giant gold chain or white gold chain, depending on what that was, I would not be interested. Like Slay has a chain, right? If Slay came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to try my chain on?" I'd probably say no. You had chicken wings for lunch. There's probably barbecue sauce on that chain. I don't want that chain. No, thank you. So that would be my position. But, I guess for an equipment staffer who's just trying to stay awake and stay busy on the sideline, who apparently needs to do those, what are they called? It's not, what's the little thing they just did right after that you just mentioned?
Smelling salts.
Smelling salts. I wanted to say smelling salts, but for some reason that didn't sound right to me. Either way, nobody else's jewelry for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm also good. Unless it's yours. Would you let me wear your jewelry?
No, you cannot wear my jewelry. Get back in here and finish your segment. Nope. Is that in case you missed it? All right, very good. That is going to do it for us this evening. Bert keeping it tight, I suppose, is throwing a tantrum because I will not let him wear my jewelry, but perhaps we will negotiate terms at a later date. A reminder that the primetime program is made possible by Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN, get up to $100 on your no danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. Radio show tomorrow. Adam Sparks is going to get us updated on the latest with the Vols. Charles Davis of CBS Sports and, of course, of the Titans preseason broadcast. VFL himself will join us on the radio show on Wednesday. We're still waiting to hear which players will be on the radio show because one more week of training camp practices Wednesday and Thursday for us before we all schlep down to New Orleans, which I'm looking forward to for the food and for some preseason starting action, which I'm looking forward to seeing 3-ish series as well. Have a great rest of your evening. Join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville. Go home!